Good morning, students. So today we can be discuss about the some question and answer related to the soil. So first question is, which factor influence the soil formations? So they can given to the some options like climate, vegetations, parent rock, and also all of this. So all these factors, maybe climate, vegetation, and the parent rock, these are all should be influences the soil formation. The correct answer should be the all of these. Second question, the hardest layer of the soil. Top soil, the middle layer, the third layer. Fourth option is the lowermost layer. The hardest layer of the soil is always the lowermost layer. Third question, in which origin of the soil more amount of the minerals are found? Bedrock, A origin, C origin, B origin. The correct answer should be B origin. Next, fourth question, removal of the which part of the soil layer is called soil erosion. The upper layer of the soil we can define as the A origin. Yes, the correct answer should be the A origin. Next question, which one does not cause erosion of soil? So they can be given to the some options here. Fragmentation of rocks, deforestation, floods, overgrazings. So here the question should be asked like this, which one does not cause? It means fragmentation of the rocks. It means it is the formation of the soil. We should be helpful for the formation of the soil. So the correct answer should be the fragmentation of rocks. Next, fill in the blanks. The removal of the upper surface of the soil is known as, can be called as the soil erosion. Soil erosion is the removal of the upper surface of the soil is known as the soil erosion. Soil from a crop field cannot be used to make toys. Yes, the soil from a crop field cannot be used to make toys. So it can be used to the clay soil. Okay. The view of soil zones or layers is known as the soil profile. Soil profile means the view of the soil zones A origin, B, C. So like that we can record that one. That is we can record as the soil profile. Next, fourth one is the rotting dash matter in the soil is called humus. So humus means the rotting dead matter we can record that is the soil is called humus. Next question, the excess use of dash on the crop cause soil pollution. So the correct answer should be the pesticides and also insecticides. So that is the correct answer. So as the following given here, earthworm, a origin of the more moist soil. So almost a origin of the moist soil we can record as the earthworm. They should be live. Garden lizard should be live in the surface of the soil. Is it? So like that, crab should be live in the burrow in the soil. Rodent should be, so crab should be live in the sand and beaches. So like that, rodent should be live in the burrows in soil. So like that, scorpion should be live in the deep narrow holes in the dry soil. So this is the habitations from given here. There should be the live in the earthworm, garden lizard, crab, rodents, and also scorpion. Next, short answer questions type here. What is humus? So in 1 marks question it is that one. It is that the rotting dead matter in the soil is called humus. Second question, what is soil? So soil means what? It is the mixture of rock particles and humus is called as a soil. Next, third question, which layer of the soil contains humus? Means again it can be called as the top soil or A origin contains humus. Which type of the soil contains more humus? So maybe we have to the loamy soil contains the more humus. So now fifth question is, what is bedrock? So bedrock means below the sea origin is layer of the hard rocks which is difficult to dig with spade and is called bedrock. So like that, short answer question, what is the basis of classification of the soil and into how many types of is it classified accordingly? So answer is, the soil is classified on the basis of the proportion of particles of various sizes. So some should be the very big size particles, some are the very smaller particles. Depend upon that one. If soil contains greater proportion of the big particles is called sandy soil. If it has a fine particle means you can record as the clay soil. If the amount of large and fine particle is about same, then it is called as the loamy soil. So there are the three types of the we can be soil, we can be sea. Next question, show that dry soil also contains some amount of the water. So here you can be give to the some experiment, you can be do that one. Take a boiling tube, take some amount of the soil in it. Okay. Now heat the tube on a flame and observe on heating water in the soil evaporate and moved up and condense the cooler inner wall of the upper part of the boiling tube. This activity shows that dry soil also contains some water. So if you take the first step is take a boiling tube, then take some amount of the soil in it. Now heat the tube of the flame and observe on heating what happened. Water in the soil. What about the moisture content in the soil? So that should be evaporated, move up and condense in the cooler inner wall of the upper part of the boiler tube. Next one is describe in the brief steps following the making earthen pot. So how should be the making of earthen pots? So there are some steps given here. First, you can be collected the soil collected from the barren lands and placed in a tank. Next, it is clear of the all pebbles. So whatever unnecessary particles are there, all pebbles are there that can be cleared to that one and soaked for the about 8 hours. So after that one, the soil is then mixed about after mixing the earth then in it. So whatever the needed soil is given appropriate shape of the placing on the wheel, then finally shape of the hand. So which shape we can be given to that one? That should be we can be earthen pots. So next one is what are chemical fertilizers? Write their harmful effects. So you know that chemical fertilizers should be one of the harmful effects. That one is especially we can use to the unnecessary to that one. The chemical substances which are rich in nutrients and used to maintain the fertility are called fertilizers. So fertilizers, so generally we can use it for the enrichment of the nutrients. They also produce harmful effect also. How means because they remain in soil and spoil the porous structure of the soil, which is essential for the plant growth. They also kill the soil organisms like earthworms, crabs. So like that we can be seen to that one. Earthworm also borrow and use in the soil, make it porous. So we know that earthworm is called as the farmer friends. So like that earthworm is also borrow and use in the soil. That when we can be used to the unnecessary chemicals, the earthworm should be dead. What makes soil is a shelter for many living organisms. So without soil we cannot be alive, is it? So like that it is also shelter for the many living organisms, even human beings also. Soil contains organic materials such as starch, cellulose, fats, proteins and remains of the dead organisms. So if you know that soil should be contains the sum of the particles like starch, cellulose, fat and proteins and remaining of the dead living organisms. So these give energy to the living organisms. Maybe they have to the air, water and minerals present in the soil which give enough energy to the living organisms to sustain their lives. In this way, soil is also shelter for many living organisms. So next question is, soil is very important for the living beings. Justify. So you know that it is support for the growth of plants by holding the roots firmly and supply the water and nutrients. It is a home for many organisms. Soil is essential for the agriculture. Agriculture provides the food, clothing and shelter for all. Soil is thus an inseparable part of our life. Without soil we cannot be alive in this earth. So it should be support for the growth of plants. It is a home for many organisms. It is essential for the agriculture. It provides the food, cloth and shelter also. In towns and cities, generally the borewells have to be dug very deep get water compared to the borewells dug in villages give reasons. So this is because excessive use of water which deplete the groundwater. So you know that, so when they used to the excessive use of water with the groundwater means in a way they can be used for the borewells, tube wells, is it? Towns and cities have asphalted roads and vast areas of the soil are concrete. Almost if you observe the towns and cities, they have the vast area of the soil should be concreted. As a result, rainwater cannot be percolated, recharged groundwater, and the groundwater level should be further decreases. So when the rainwater cannot be percolated, what means it should not be, water level cannot be high in the cities and towns. Villages have a larger area of the open soil surface and fewer asphalted roads and also concrete surfaces. Only few we can be seen in the asphalted roads and also concrete surfaces. Thus, larger soil surface should be available for the rainwater to percolate into the soil easily and recharge the groundwater. As a result, even shallow borewells yield the water. Hence, the absorption capacity should be very high in the villages and towns. Hence, we can be seen in the borewells should be very high in these villages compared to towns. Next question. Continuously waterlogged soils are disadvantages for the plant growth. Why? So you know that roots, although underground, possess living cells that require oxygen for respiration and production of energy. Especially the roots means we can define as the sum of the bacteria we can be need. So nitrosomonas, that type of the bacteria we can be tell about that one. So they possess living cells that require the oxygen for respiration and also production of energy. They absorb oxygen that is present in the space between the soil particles. Whatever the roots, which living organism should be like that one, they absorb the oxygen that which is present in the space between the soil particles. But in waterlogged soils, so continuously the water should be stored in the soil, means waterlogging system. That is, water occupies the spaces between the soil particles and pushes the oxygen out in the atmosphere. Thus, roots are deprived of oxygen, and the effect of the root and plant should be low. So when the excess of water should be logged into the plant, the roots are deprived of the oxygen. This affect root and also plant growth also we can be seen. Lastly, why is soil erosion relatively less in dense forest as compared to the barren open field? So generally soil erosion should be less in the dense forest compared to the barren and open field. Why? Because in dense forest, the tree cover, means canopy we can recall that one, it prevents the rainwater from directly falling on the ground and soil. So whatever the roots of the vegetation bind the soil particles and hold them together, as a result soil erosion should be also minimized. But in barren land what happens means open field, the soil is exposed to the falling rain, the soil particles become loosened due to impact of the rainwaters and flow of the water carries them away. So the upper layer of the soil should be easily, flow of water carries them away. The flowing water further erode the soil surface, aggravation of the erosion. Next, fifth question. What is meant by soil erosion? What are its various causes and harms? How can it be checked? In which area of the soil is more severe? The removal of the land surface or the topsoil by water, wind or ice is known as the soil erosion. Soil erosion means removing of the land surface or topsoil by the water, wind or ice is known as the soil erosion. Plant roots primarily bind the soil. In the absence of plants, soil become the loose. In case plant does not firmly root, it means what? The absence of plants, the soil become loose. So it can be easily moved by the wind and flowing water. For preventing the soil erosion, it can be, another reason should be the deforestation and cutting of trees. It should be also prevented, and effort should be made for the increase the green area. Erosion of the soil is more severe in areas of the little or no surface vegetation such as desert or barren land. So soil erosion should be one of the main reason for the deforestation. We can be for that one. So unnecessary cutting of the trees, it should be prevented. And also effort should be made to increase the green area. So we can be planting where the space should be have, we can be planting the plants, and also erosion of the soil is also more severe in areas of the little or no surface vegetation such as desert or barren lands. So these are some questions we can be discussed here. So thank you and all.